It's time for the Millionaires Roundtable, a daily wealth building talk show hosted by America's hip hop money guru, Lynn Richardson. On the station that can make a dollar holler. The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Let's go. Welcome, Chicago, New York, Indiana, Michigan, Paris, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation, my favorite radio station, one of them at least, but the best one right now. We are about to have a game-changing topic today. I am your host, Lynn Richardson. And I've got some news for you. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, and we're doing it today with you and you too. Yes, I know you don't think it's you, but it's you, because this show is not just about hearing what millionaires do and hearing all of their success and not knowing how you're going to get there. This is about you taking the penny that you have, the nickel that you have, the dime, quarter, or the dollar that you have, and figuring out what you need to do to maximize it. So without further ado, I want to get to all of the news we have today. I want to share this scripture, one of my favorite. It says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. That's right. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. If you are not succeeding financially, I'm going to ask you, how many advisors do you have around you? If you are not succeeding financially, who are you talking to outside of they? You know who they is. They are the people who don't even know what they're talking about because they have not achieved where you're trying to go. So I want you to get in the mindset that it takes many counselors, many advisors, people who are connected, who are knowledgeable, who operate in excellence, who will take you to the next level and get you what you need. So our $1 million topic of the day is how to amend your taxes. And I'm going to add the tagline, and get your money back. That's right. How to amend your taxes and get your money back. Now, this is the first thing I'm going to tell you. I want everybody to stop being fearful of the IRS, fearful of an audit, fearful that you don't have the information. This is about getting the information, but it is also about applying the education that you get along with the process, because what you get is going to come at a cost. You know, the way some people say it, to whom much is given, much is required. So when you are in the position where you've got to figure out, how am I going to get to the next level? How am I going to do this thing differently? How am I going to pull myself up with my own might? How am I going to make this dollar stretch to next week, next month, and next year? Then understand that you're going to have to do some things that you've never done to get to a place where you've never been. And that requires work. So when you understand the benefits of being a self-employed business owner with a home-based business, and everybody, let me repeat, everyone should have as one of their income streams minimally some kind of self-employed consulting business that you operate as a self-employed business owner like a business. You run it like a business. You don't run it like a hobby. Let me tell you why. Because the IRS has about 460 tax deductions that you can take advantage of when you own a business. If you do not own a business and you're only an employee, then you're only eligible for about 8. And many people don't even get most of those. So this is about getting the knowledge. People complain often that we've never seen Trump's tax return. Let me tell you, and I'm just going to say it. That's because it would be a blueprint for how to get your money back. I'm telling you the truth. Every possible write-off that is available or known to the world, to the universe, I'm pretty sure is sitting on that tax return. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my colleague, Ms. Felicia Staggers, who is not only a tax professional, but she is a wealth builder, a wealth building professional, someone who is not just committed to helping you get a tax return filed, but also committed to helping you build wealth. Welcome to the show, Felicia.
Thank you, Lynn. How are you today?
I am excellent. I am excellent. So tell us the number one thing that people should be focused on if they want to move forward with an amendment to their tax return, and or, you know, what is the scenario like? What is the landscape now like now that April 15th has passed? Is it still really busy? If yes, okay. If not, what can we do to get people busy and get them in the state of awareness of knowing what to do to amend their taxes?
Yes. So first let me say grace scripture, and thank you for allowing me to be one of the wealth counselors for today. And so I think one of the important things that is good for us to talk about is amending taxes. A lot of times, April 15th, it come and go, and then no one thinks about it again until the next tax season starts. But some of the things that you should start thinking about in the off season and looking at your tax return and actually trying to understand it. Was there any credits missed? Were there any deductions missed? Those are the type of things that you want to amend. And so let me just run down a few of the items for you. You only want to amend if you're correcting a filing status. So, for instance, single, head of household, married filing, single, joint, those kind of items. You also want to amend if you're changing the number of dependents, if you're adding in a dependent that was not claimed for income reasons, or if you need to claim a deduction or credit that was not claimed on your original tax return. And to Lynn's point, don't be scared of the IRS, but what you want to do is make sure that you're filing appropriately. For those that are receiving the earned income credit, you want to make sure you're reporting the correct income, because the IRS will disallow it for 2 years if they find out that you intentionally misreported income. And what I like to remind people of is when you receive a W-2, there are several copies to that. The employer has one, the employee receives one. A copy goes to each of the states, and for those that are filing multiple states, and then also one goes to the federal. So they already have your information. You're not hiding anything from them that they don't know. And so the best thing to do is report all of your income. And we do see instances where, you know, people come in, they really need the money. But even if you go ahead and file and you know, let's say you forgot about that 1 or 2 W-2s that come in later, make sure you come in to amend those taxes. Because that is just, you know, there is really no way around it. You don't want it to be a year or two from now, and then they're coming back looking for you.
You know, this is really good information for those who, particularly for those who get the earned income credit, for those who filed inappropriately. Maybe, as you said, they did not file the proper status, single versus head of household. Those are great things. We got to talk about the people who don't get any of that. I filed my proper status. I don't even, the earned income credit, what is that? That went out in the 90s with 90s music with me. And if it's coming back, you're going to have to bring it back with BBD, Bell Biv DeVoe, something like that, because it doesn't apply to me. I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do right now if I have done everything right? I made no mistakes, but now I have more knowledge. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable with Lynn Richardson, and I have my colleague, my girl, Felicia Staggers, and she's going to help you get the information you need to amend your taxes. We're on WVON. It's 1217 on the Talk of Chicago. We will be right back after news, traffic, and weather with Annette Flournoy. Don't turn that dial. WVON. Please stay with us, Felicia.
More of the Millionaires Roundtable coming up on the Talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON.
I run up in your bank just for recreation, dedication, hard work, plus patience. To some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. Dedication.
spent my whole life thinking out the box. Boxing homies 3-on-1, got DP, but I ain't dropped. Chirp on me, here I come. Spin around the block, they broke on me. Said I ran a stop sign, but that's a lie. I spent my whole life staring at the stage, playing Sega, daddy smoking Sherm, mama playing spades, catching papers. Grandma said I get some Jordans for my grades. That's my baby.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation. And today's $1 million topic of the day is how to amend your taxes and get more money back. I have my very special guest, Miss Felicia Staggers, here on the line. She owns 5 Jackson Hewitts in the Chicagoland area. But even if you're not there, it doesn't mean you cannot get to her. Go to my website, Lynn Millionaire. She's listed there. You can reach her there via email, via the website. And, of course, she'll give out her information as well. But for now, Miss Felicia, so let's finish out the deductions for the people who get the earned income credit and all the credits. And then let's go to the other 900 million people in the world who don't get any of that. Because I'm like, what?
So
we don't get any of that.
Yes, let's talk about some of the people with the home-based businesses and some reasons they would want to amend. And here is what, just to sort of piggyback off of what Lynn has already told you, there is over 400 deductions that you can get for having a home-based business. And so one of the things I think that, we should do is, take a look at those, your tax returns. You can bring them in for one of my professionals to take a look at that, and we can actually help you go down that list and find out if there was any of those things that you missed. I mean, there are all kinds of expenses out there that are deductible, including mileage. You can write off a section of your home as a home office. You have utilities from your electric bill to your gas bill to your water bill. You even have write-offs for marketing and advertising. I think some of the smaller deductions people tend to miss because they think that it's a small thing, but every dollar adds up. A penny savings adds to 5 cents, takes you to 10 cents, takes you to dollars, and that's how you build wealth. You have to build wealth by thinking about the smaller ways to save money that will eventually create some wealth for you. And again, there's just so many different options and so many different expenses that are available, and those are some of the things that myself and my team can help you to point out. And so if you have those tax returns available and you feel like that you have some of those deductions mentioned that were missed, we can actually take a look at that for you. And if we see that there are some items that were missed on there, that's when we would take the opportunity to go ahead and file an amended return for you.
And also make sure that you have the proper documentation, because once you filed an amended return, especially if you file an amended return and you're getting more money back because of deductions that you missed the first time and or deductions that you've never taken in the past, you do increase your chances of an audit. But why, Felicia, should we not be afraid of an audit? Can you just share with us, what is going to take place, particularly during an audit, and essentially what is the IRS looking for during an audit?
So let's just say, yes, you should not be afraid of an audit, particularly if you are documenting appropriately. And again, that's another area that we can go over with you. For instance, most people think that a credit card statement is sufficient for documentation. That is not. It does have an amount on there. It typically has the place of business on there. That is not sufficient. What the IRS wants to know is the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. All of that related to a business. And so there are even apps, and I have several recommendations that I can give out on different apps that you can use to track all of that information, because the fact of the matter is it is tough keeping up with receipts. It is tough keeping up with those tons of pieces of paper, and even when you have them together somewhere, they tend to bleed off, and by the time you're audited, that information is not there. And so that's why different apps is great. You can put the information, again, the W's all in there, and then you can also take a picture of the receipt. And so those are the number one reasons why taxpayers lose audits. And I'll tell you the number one reason is mileage. We do not properly track our mileage. And mileage, again, is another app. I have several suggestions that I can give you on ways to do that. You should be tracking the mileage at the beginning of the year and the end of the year in each individual trip. And yes, no one knows how long it takes to get from one side of town to a different side of town. The app will do that for you. You put the to address and the from address, and it will track all of that information for you. That is what the IRS is looking for. And so that's the most important thing, is documenting properly, because when you have all of your books and records in order, you have nothing to be afraid of. You have nothing to be afraid of.
Yes. And I just have to say something that you said. Every little penny adds up. One of the posts that I put on social media over the past week or so, I think MC Light even posted it. It went like viral. And I was just saying, it's just. People always say, well, it's just 10 cents. It's just 20 cents. It's just $2. And then they don't have any money, because all your money is tied up in your it's justs.
Right.
If you go back and track your it's just, that's where your wealth is. Well, it's the same thing with your taxes. You might say it's just a $1 deduction, or it's just a $20 deduction, or it's just a $50 deduction. And the truth is, there are 365 days in a year. There are 24 hours in a day. We spend so much money. And if you add up all the it's justs that you could have taken a deduction for, then for me, I remember that first year, I went from 20,000 in deductions to 80,000, Felicia, just because I was paying attention. So getting your money back is hard work, but so is being broke. And on that note, we're going to take a break. I want you to stay with us, Felicia, because we have some callers on the line who have questions. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. It's 12:30 on the Talk of Chicago. We'll be right back after news, traffic, and weather with Annette Flournoy, WVON.
You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable with Lynn Richardson on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
Hey, welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable with Lynn Richardson right here on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. We have a hot topic today. The millionaire topic of the day is how to amend your taxes and get your money back. Get your money back, get your money back, however you have to say it, ebonics and all. Yes, how to get it back because you don't have it. FICA and them have it. FICA and them got it. FICA and them going to use it. FICA and them not going to pay you any interest on it. You need to get it back. I have my girl Felicia Staggers here on the line. She is a tax professional, but more importantly, she is a wealth builder, someone who helps people with a comprehensive approach. Felicia, one of those tax benefits that people can get, and I think one that's easy for everyone, is for people who have children and hiring your children to work in your home-based business. And for what it means for some people, Felicia, is that they may have to go back throughout the year to see what they can document. Because what I find is many people are operating as a business, as a self-employed business owner, but they did not know what to do to document their scenario. They did not know what they could write off because in many cases they go to their tax preparer and or their CPA or whomever is preparing their taxes, and the CPA doesn't tell them you should do this or you should do that. They just ask for the documentation, and whatever documentation is there, that's what they file. Whereas you are educating people about the documentation they need to provide so that they can be in a better position. It's almost like the dentist either just treating your teeth or telling you when you go home, I want you to drink that. I want you to do this. I want you to floss. And then when you come back, you're going to be in this position. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things people can do to backtrack their records and what they should do to diligently stick to that process.
So some of the things that I think people should do, especially when you're trying to backtrack and figure out what documentation that you need, I think you first should start with your bank statement. Although that is not an IRS, something that can get you past the IRS audit, I think you should start with that. And some of the things is just going down your bank statement line and pulling those things out. And, like, for me, I have a calendar, which I have everything. My life is in a calendar. And so if I can tag that date and tag that lunch or that dinner or, that breakfast to a date, I can go back to my calendar now and see who I met with. Then that's much easier for me to go ahead and just put a description on there. And again, those are some of the reasons why it's also important to use things like a credit card or debit card so that you have that trackable source. It's really hard to kind of go back and figure out how to use cash, but that's one of the things that has worked great for me is because I'm out and I'm always on the go and is trying to manage 5 Jackson Hewitt offices. You can imagine my life can be a little complicated at times, and so while there are expenses that I know that I miss sort of tracking in my in my app, I do know that I can go back to that credit card statement and go ahead and write my descriptions, maybe take some time once a week, twice a week, a couple times a month, or however you want to do it that best fits your schedule. But that is the best trackable way to do that. And those that's for all of your expenses, Get in a habit of, maybe have a pouch in the car. Like right now, I have a little pouch in my glove compartment. When I go into a store, I get a receipt. I just throw it in there. At least I know I have the receipt. If I have to go back and write my description, that's fine. But I have that receipt. I have that credit card statement where that amount is on there. And so I'm already down 2 of the 3. I just now need to take the time to write the descriptions on there.
You know what? You just hit the nail on the head. I'm going to have my assistant producer get my pouch out of my bag. It's the exact same thing that I do, Felicia. And it's sometimes first of all, I get a receipt for everything. When I'm at Starbucks, I get a receipt. When I'm at Walgreens, I get a receipt. When I'm and I don't care. Sometimes I've been with people and there are other people in the line behind me and other people are kind of trying to rush. No, I'm going to get my receipt, but I'm going to do more than just get my receipt. I'm going to stop and take my time and fold it and put it in my pouch that I carry with me everywhere. So for those who are watching us live, this pouch that I carry with me everywhere. And what I will do is at the end of the month, I will empty it out, put it in an envelope that says April or May or June or whatever month it is. But it's a combination of things. And so there are some people who can stick very diligently to a manual process where they just keep a diary. They actually have a little small notepad or a spiral notebook that they record every single expense, which I think is absolutely amazing. It's what the IRS recommends. But also, to your point, people are moving fast. But what I will also tell you, Felicia, and I know you can attest to this, getting your money straight and getting your money back and building your wealth is hard work. It is really hard work. What I have found is the people who are doing well financially work hard at it. Getting their money in a place that they want it to be is like a full-time job. But I often say, so is being broke. Being broke is a full-time job. So which job are you going to do? It's not do you have to do the work, it's which work are you going to do. And so the tips that you've shared with us are so important. We're going to take some callers. Do you have time to stay with us? I know you're busy, but we got some callers for you. Awesome. Okay, we have a caller, E. You have a question for our guest?
Yeah, just 2 things. One, I wanted to know how to get in touch with Felicia Staggers. And is there an email or number or something, some way to get in touch with her?
Yes, so I can give you my number. So the number to reach me is 773-359-3229. Again, that's 773-359-3229. Also, my email address is jacksonhewitt3301@yahoo.com. Again, that's jacksonhewitt3301@yahoo.com.
Okay, and then my second and final point is she mentioned a lot, or both of you mentioned a lot about apps and hundreds of deductions, and finally you mentioned that Trump's taxes would probably have a lot of deductions. Is there a book or a website or some articles or something that would educate people about these deductions?
There's a whole university, and as a matter of fact, you can join the free webinar. You can go to linmillionaire.com and go to Get Tax Help, or you can go to linrichardson.com. If you go to linrichardson.com, it's one of the first things that's there, and click on the link and get educated. Also, you can sign up for our e-newsletter at either linmillionaire.com or linrichardson.com so that you are in the know about new things. One of the first things that you want to do is understand all of the many ways that you can build wealth. And Felicia and I are both students of Sandy Bakken. Sandy Bakken is an IRS, is a tax attorney. He used to work for the IRS. About 20 years ago, he left the IRS and started training people like you and me. Okay. Everyday people, regular folks who make $20,000 a year, $100,000 a year, or $2 million a year. The first year I started listening to Sandy Bakken, my deductions went from $20,000 to $80,000. I still have that spreadsheet that I can make available to the public, and I was able to document every single expense because he teaches you what to document, but he also teaches you how to document. He teaches you how to think differently. So there's the webinar that's free. There's also the software. The software, it connects to your calendar, as Felicia was stating. And then if you really want to get a tax education, then there's the university. So everything is right there on my website, and I encourage you to stay in touch with us. And you can also find Felicia on the website as well. She's a member of Lynn's List.
She's a member of what? I'm sorry.
She's a member of Lynn's List at lynnmillionaire.com.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. I have Felicia Staggers with us. She can be reached at 773-359-3229. 773-359-3229. Felicia, do you have a few more moments to hang out with us? We have more questions from callers.
Sure.
Okay, awesome. We're going to take a quick break. Right after the break, we're going to do a money makeover. We have more questions. We have more answers about the IRS. I have 3 big things that everybody can do. And so we want to get your pen and paper, get your notes, get yourself ready to go to the next level financially, because we are creating millionaires one family at a time, and that means you. It is 1247 on the Talk of Chicago. Traffic and weather are up next with Annette Flournoy. This is the Millionaires Roundtable, and we'll be right back on WVON.
You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable with Lynn Richardson on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
All right, now, welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. Our hot topic of the day is how to amend your taxes and get your money back. Absolutely. Miss Felicia Staggers is on the line with us. The lines are open. I haven't even given out the number, I don't think. 312-374-8130. Melanie, we have you here live on WVON. Are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Well, you have double for your trouble today. You've got 2 folks here to help you make over your financial situation. I'm looking at what you submitted to our producers, but can you tell me, Melanie, in your own words, where are you right now, and where are you trying to go? What can we do to help you?
Well, right now, currently, I've been on my job for about 5 months now. I'm making a really good income. I'm just struggling with the budgeting and with the saving and with the planning. I'm still seeing myself living paycheck to paycheck, even though I shouldn't be. My credit is not so great. I think it's mostly because of my student loans, and I've been struggling with that. It's been going up and down over the past 5 years. Once it was really good, I did something that brought it back down. But like I said, at the same time, whenever I get the good income and I'm able to hold everything together, it's just always something that comes and, kind of crushes my finances, and then my expenses become more than what I'm having and earning. So I'm trying to find a way to balance that and juggle it. I'm a single mom of 2 kids, and trying to continue to get through school still. So that's where I am currently right now. I'm almost at the end point of school so that I can be in the career that I really desire, and that's just where I'm trying to get to.
Well, Melanie, first of all, my first advice to you, and I'll Felicia, if you can share some words of wisdom as well. My first piece of advice to you would be to keep doing what you're doing, because the truth about life is this: it's like Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So you mentioned now that you've got things on track, now this is coming up. Now such and such is going on. Now that comes up. You drive a car. As soon as you pay it off, it breaks down. It's like, but these are the things in life. These are the tests. And you cannot get to the next level until you pass that test. If you could get to the next level without passing the test. Everybody would be there. But there's a reason why there are only a few people, literally, comparatively speaking, on the planet who live and operate in an abundant mindset. And with an abundant mindset, you don't work for money. Money comes to you. With an abundant mindset, you're never in lack. You are always operating from a place of abundance. Even when you need things, you learn how to make what you have what you need until you get the next thing. And so you go from needing to get more to learning how to master what you have, and then you are automatically blessed with more. So one of the things I would say to you is get more money by any means, any legal, ethical, and moral means necessary. Whether you start doing Uber, whether you start consulting, if you like to do hair, like whatever it is that you can do to bring in some money, do that, because then you're self-employed. And once you're self-employed, you know, I'm pretty sure you have 2 kids. What are some of the things that you're spending money on for your kids every month?
Mostly just toys, things, mostly just things to keep them intrigued and learning, things like that. Anything that comes up with school, my oldest son. Mostly it's food and things. It's just anything. Sometimes it's what they see, what they want kind of thing. And I got to kind of stop that as well. So it's always just something to, you know, make them happy, little toys, little knickknacks to kind of do for the day. Just something like that. Try not to go too much over budget, but I do that often for them.
I understand. And your children are 6 and 2?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, they can work in the home-based business, honey. Let me tell you something. I see babies walking around with iPads. Anybody who knows how to work an iPad can have a job. Anybody who knows how to smile can have a job because you can model. Anybody who can wake up and look at the earth can get a job. And my youngest daughter, who is on her way to Howard University, she's been working for me since she was 4. Okay. So she could do things like file. When you hire your children to work in your home-based business, you get to pay them a salary, even if it's just $100 a month that you're spending on them. Now that $100 is a salary. It's a tax write-off to you. And now you can use that money to buy all the things that you were going to buy anyway. So that's one thing. I want you to be self-employed. And then I want you to increase your cash flow so that you can buy this home in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, where all of us want to live. Felicia, what advice do you have for Melanie?
One thing I would say, and Lynn, you pretty much hit everything on the head with the multiple streams of income. I've always had multiple streams of income, which is, you know, one of the ways I've been able to open up and create some business opportunities for myself, but also start some wealth building on my end. But another thing I would say is you need to put aside an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a fund that you can, you know, go into for those different emergencies that come up. You know, things happen, a car breakdown, furnace go out, all those type of things. You need to have an emergency fund set to the side. But one other thing that I would note as far as budget, a lot of times I talk to people and, you know, I talk to them about budgeting. You have to have a realistic budget. You just absolutely have to. So if you show me a budget and it has no line item in there for food, this is not realistic. You cannot live without food. And so I think that is one of the things that people miss a lot of times is they create these very nice looking budgets. It sounds real, you know, it sounds good, but it has to be realistic. Are there some areas where you can make a sacrifice or cut some expenses? Yes. Do you have to buy that Starbucks coffee every day? No.
No.
Drink it at home, or can you find something else? Absolutely. Can you take your lunch every day? That's absolutely realistic, but it's not realistic that you do not eat. You do not have to spend money every day eating out because that becomes very, very expensive. And so I think the important thing is just to find ways to cut back. But then also I'd say from a tax perspective is making sure that your tax preparer, the CPA, whoever is working with you, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you, but making sure that they're maximizing all of the different credits and deductions that are available to you. And that's one of the things that I think Jackson Hewitt and myself pride ourselves of, is just making sure we maximize that for each of our clients so that they're able to deduct and reduce their tax liability, but also that they're getting those things, those credits and things that are out there that are available to them on a federal and a state level. Sometimes
I love that.
Focus a lot on the federal, but they miss the different credits that are available to the state. And one story I'll tell you is that
we've got 10 seconds. We've got 10
one
seconds.
Of my offices is in Calumet City. We're very, very close to Indiana. People do not know how to.
We've got 5 seconds. Okay. Right. This has been amazing. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. Go to LynnMillionaire.com. Go to Lynn's List. Find Felicia. Get your money back on your taxes. Melanie, we will follow up with you immediately when we get off the air. It's WVON. I love you all. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, Felicia. We got to have you back. Bye-bye, everyone. It's been a great show. Bye-bye.